Fast-moving subjects require swift responses from the photographer as well as quick equipment. The E3's autofocus is currently one of the fastest in the digital single-lens reflex camera class. This is made possible by the highly developed ultra-fast 11-point AF system and the new supersonic wave drive lenses. The biaxial AF system, with 11 cross sensors, uses both vertical and horizontal sensor lines to calculate the correct focus from a total of 88 different data points. In addition, the E3 falls back on pixel multiplication technology. This enhances performance in poor lighting conditions to -2 exposure values in ISO 100. There are numerous settings for adjusting the autofocus functions to various situations. You can decide whether to activate all 11 AF cross-measurement fields, a group of fields, or just one single field. In the Setup menu, it's possible to control the sensitivity of the individual AF field. If you choose Normal, the camera focuses within the current field and on the surrounding area. In the Small setting, measurement only takes place within the field. In the Setup menu, you can set the sequence in which the AF fields are to be switched, among other things. It's even possible, during a long exposure, to adjust sharpness in manual mode. The AF measurement field selection button and the two setting dials can be used to activate the right AF field quickly and conveniently. The continuous autofocus with prediction autofocus is the perfect answer for moving subjects. The camera continues to refocus even if the subject moves or the photo composition changes. The continuous autofocus can also be fixed so that it doesn't adjust even if the subject distance suddenly changes due to another object. The autofocus system of the E3 works very quickly and precisely. It works perfectly, even in poor lighting conditions, which is very important for me because I tend to work with the available light. There are also shots where you've just got to rely on the camera. For example, when taking blind photographs, when following a news story, or when taking photos from a car window in sensitive situations in crisis regions, so that you don't have much time to look through the viewfinder. If you feel that the autofocus really works on fast shots, then life is much easier. There's nothing worse than a blurred photograph, because you'll never sell it. Generally, I use spot autofocusing. That way I'm able to focus precisely on a subject which I really want to have in focus. With the focus lock, I then make a composition. During some events and actions where I can't use spot focusing, I choose some of the focusing groups. According to my intention, I then choose to have this group on top, at the bottom, in a corner, or in the center of the composition. The E3 has an integrated mechanical image stabilizer which operates like a built-in tripod, which allows you to take handheld photographs up to 5 exposure values longer. This is particularly useful when taking macro shots for longer exposure times or very long focal distances for shake-free pictures. Naturally, the image stabilizer also compensates for involuntary hand movements that can lead to blur. The effectiveness of the image stabilizer is particularly obvious when you take pictures with the ED 300mm and the two-fold converter EC20. This combination gives you a focal distance of 1200mm when converted to the small picture format and has an impressive focal aperture of 5.6. Because the image stabilizer is housed in the camera body, all of your 4/3 lenses will benefit from this top-class technology on the E3. It will stabilize all lenses. The image stabilizer is activated by pressing the IS button. The display and viewfinder will show whether the stabilizer is activated. In live view mode, you can check the effect of the image stabilizer by holding down the IS button. You can choose between two different modes in the menu. In IS1 setting, the image stabilizer compensates for movement on both axes. If you select IS2, only the vertical axis will be corrected, which achieves much better results for panning effects. The image stabilizer of the E3 allows me to work with telephoto lenses, for example, something I like to do very much, particularly my favorite lens, the 150mm. This gives me 5 shutter speeds automatically, and I no longer need to place the camera on a tripod, so I can move about freely. For me, this makes the image stabilizer one of the most important features on the E3.
Und das macht für mich den Bildstabilisator zu einem der mit wichtigsten Features bei der E3.
Image stabilization on the E3 really is beneficial. I personally use it in various situations where you don't want to disrupt the atmosphere by setting up a monopod or a tripod. Thanks to the image stabilizer, I can now use shutter speeds of 5 EV steps lower than normal. The great thing about the E3 image stabilizer is that I can get panning effects much more easily by deactivating the X-axis. This keeps the subject sharp and captures the movement. The live view monitor always shows the key exposure settings. Pressing the info button allows you to call up the various displays, such as a real-time histogram. The effect of changes in camera settings is shown on the live view monitor in real time. For example, if you set the gradation to auto, you'll see the so-called shadow adjustment technology directly on the monitor. This entails adjustment to extreme light situations when photographing against the light. To maximize the performance of the high-resolution lenses and high-speed live MOS sensor, the image properties are enhanced by the newly developed TruePic 3 engine. 3 image processing techniques ensure less noise, better reproduction of detail, and realistic reproduction of color. What I like most about the E3 is the fact that it's a great all-rounder. It can be used to meet all the professional challenges that face me every day as I photograph architecture, people, and news stories. It's fast, reliable, and quiet. 3 very important features for me that make the E3 a really excellent piece of kit. When it comes to picture quality, the camera actually exceeds my highest expectations.